Hey everybody, this is Nick. Today I want to show you the DPS Pulse app. It's available in the App Store on Apple iTunes. If you want to find it, it's DPS Pulse. Right now it is not available for Android, unfortunately. It's only free through the App Store. There's no cost whatsoever. The company that puts this out is String Automotive. They actually have a full dashboard that is pretty robust for new cars, used cars. We'll give market insights on what's motivating from a messaging standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, by zip code. Really, really robust. So at a certain point, if you're looking for more information, you can reach out to myself, your 22 Squared rep, and we can help you set up a demo with that company. But today we're just going to go through this app and show you what it can do. I've already got the app installed on my phone, so I'm just going to quickly shift to it. I'm logged into Rick Case Honda. I'm just going to show you a Honda store today. What's really cool about this is, obviously, first off, you're going to probably want to install it for your specific dealership and watch your dealership. It's going to look at it from a brand perspective. So it's going to compare you versus closest Toyota stores, watch your market share in specific products versus those Toyota stores. But if you want to get insights on a competing Honda or Nissan or Chevy or Ford store, whatever, you can just install or set this app up for that dealership as well. And so when you do that, again, it just gives you an option to pick the dealership. I've already picked Rick Case. It allows you to pick the competitors that you want to track, and then it allows you to select the models that you want to track to. There's a limit of 5 competitors that you can track. There is no limit to the amount of models that you can track. And then the one thing that's really interesting, because some of you might start looking at this and think it's very similar to Market Master tool, the difference is, the first difference is that it allows you to set your market area. And so, you can decide if you want to include zip codes or if you don't. And you can just, again, zoom in and select or deselect them based on your interest. The app typically defaults to about 80% of your selling area. If you're in a single point, sometimes it's as high as 90%. But that's kind of a neat option to it, because we know that you sell outside of your PMA, and this tool allows you to do that. So once you've done that, it defaults to the news tab, the first one. And it really just kind of, at the first, you're just going to notice that, hey, we're following all these different dealerships. In some cases, it'll say, hey, we haven't been following one of these stores, so we're going to start accumulating data in the future. All this information, really what it means from a following standpoint, is they're tracking the inventory, the pricing that they find online. This is just kind of a scrape of data. I don't use this section nearly as much as I use the share section, but I'll show you it real quickly. You can click on specific vehicle, you can start clicking into trim levels, and it'll give you that estimate of how you're priced compared to your competitors, your inventory levels versus your competitors, market insights in terms of share versus your competitors. So it's interesting, but I'm not sure if it's as valuable as the share information, and I don't know where they always scrape the pricing. So especially with map pricing, not as important tool as the share. So let's go to the share. The other big difference between this and Market Master Online is Market Master Online will look at a quarterly, or will look at a rolling 12, where this looks at quarters. And so it's going to take the last 3 months of data that it has versus the previous 3 months. So in this case, December through February versus March through May. So a little bit delayed, just like Market Master is with registrations. And so you can click through and see how you're doing versus your competitor. So in this case, they're up 1% versus Coral Springs Honda, pretty much flat versus everybody else. If you look at specific zip codes, it'll show all the different zip codes that you're currently tracking. This is really interesting because, again, you'll pull up your zip codes and you'll say, okay, in 33027, that's 9% of my sales, whereas the Honda store, it's only 6% of his sales. And you can start tracking, and you might see a few different zip codes that are in the top 10, let's say, for your Nissan competitor or Honda competitor, that's not in your top 20. And that might give you a good opportunity to say, hey, I could do potentially more in that zip code based on what my local Nissan or Honda competitor is doing. just to kind of explain this, again, it is ranked from your top zip codes all the way down in terms of sales. You can click on it, it'll give you some insights. So in this case, the #1 zip code, they're up 1% versus competing Honda stores. 6% of their total sales is coming out of this specific zip code. Click in the next one, they're down 4% in this zip code. 5% of their total sales are coming from this. If you go back out, you can see models as well. So it's going to compare you versus your competing brand stores. So they're up 5% in total sales versus their competitors. They're down 5% here in Civic, the #2 model that they have. So they're losing some Civic sales to other dealers. This is kind of like a pump in, pump out, right? Not as much information. Again, a full dashboard would share that with you, but this app just kind of gives you a sneak peek into that. So it allows you to kind of watch and go, hey, what's happening with Civic? Civic is still obviously selling well, potentially, but we're not selling as much. Is that because of pricing? And you can start digging into that. I'm going to stop right here. It's a pretty basic app. Again, it allows you to mess with it. If you ever want to make changes, just click in the top right, go to location, you can change, just type in something else. But really easy. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to your 22 Squared rep. And if you want to go through a full demo, again, just talk to us and we'll help set that up. Thanks for your time.